of the major arcana. Seal at the pomegranate major arcana.
Go on, take a guess. Who am I? There's a couple of clues, Sharon.
There are actually more than a couple of clues.
I do apologize to anybody who is listening to this on the podcast. I suggest you flip over to YouTube now, because the visual here is not to be missed.
We went deep here.
Yes.
But I am going to have to say that you are the High Priestess.
Of course, none other. So yes, so I have got my moon on my shoulder, although hers is often sort of on her feet or whatever, but mine is on my shoulder because you can't see my feet basically on Zoom. Raise my legs in the air, and yes, and I'm just outside the walls of the old city of Jerusalem at this moment, as are you. And I just explain once and for all about the pillars in the High Priestess card.
So the pillars in the High Priestess card, and we've represented them here. We're being clever.
Yeah.
Mandy has the white pillar because she's in the day, and I have the
Yes.
black pillar because I am in the night.
Exactly.
And I'm probably going to slaughter the name because, once again, this is something I've read and not actually heard anybody say. But the pillars are from the Temple of Solomon.
Yes.
And they are called Boaz
Yes.
and Jachim.
Yes, they
I
are.
probably slaughtered the heck out of that.
Well, it sounds right. It sounds right to me, but I'm not an expert. But yeah, so that's what the B and the J are in the High Priestess card. They're the initials of the pillars. Yep. From the Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem.
And they have many, many layers of meaning. So we are going to probably have to cover all that symbolism and esoteric meaning in a different kind of podcast.
Yes, but I know that every time I teach anyone the tarot, without fail, when you come to the High Priestess, they say, what does the B and J mean? And it is the name of the pillars it represents. So other than that, what else do you get from the High Priestess card? I mean, it's loaded, isn't it?
It is so loaded. Let me pull her up.
Yeah.
You looking at it like, what the hell are you thinking, Sharon?
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I learned her as women's intuition. And I think that was so very terribly limiting. Intuition, yes, not just women's intuition. That's why I chose a third eye. She has her third eye fully open, and she is so open to all cultures, all religions. She's got the Torah, she's got the Temple of Solomon behind her, she's got the moon. A lot of people think that this is the triple goddess crown. I think that it is some version of it, but it's also the pearl from that ties her to the moon. She's super tied to the moon, to the waxing and the waning and the cycles of it, and that she trusts that magic. She is not afraid of gathering knowledge to her to find out the answers, even outside of her own beliefs. She's not afraid.
Is the cross Christian, would you say, as well, that she's wearing?
It can be. I know I saw it as Christian a lot of times, but I've been corrected often that is a unilateral cross.
Okay.
It's, more like a spiritual thing than a Christian thing specifically.
Okay. Well, I've got to say, Jerusalem is a multi-religious city. I mean, that's why it's so important. And there's such a lot of fighting over it, because it's important to Christians, it's important to the Jewish religion, to the Muslim religion. It's kind of probably other religions as well, I don't know. But, you know, you've got all these different quarters, and it's a very, very special place to a lot of people. I mean, people go there on pilgrimages and all that sort of thing, you know, from all different religions. So
Imagine how peaceful it would be, though, if they could be like that high priestess and accept all of it
oh
as
god,
part of the whole.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I don't think she is about religion. I think she's about spirituality.
I
And
agree.
spirituality is universal, isn't it? It's not, you know, it's not exclusive to any religion. It's available for everyone, religious or not.
Yeah.
No, she's marvelous.
A lot of people get so tripped up with her because she feels so secretive. I think she's willing to share those secrets, but you got to prove that you want to know them. You've got to prove that you're going to do something with them. And I mean, I could talk about the high priestess for quite a while. You've got the whole tapestry with the pomegranates going on around behind her, and then so many people don't even realize that that's water behind her. The separation from intuition from emotion, because emotion stains knowledge. But I think she's able to directly connect to that higher power without allowing her emotion to twist it into what she wants to hear. She actually hears the actual message and is able to share that message without tainting it with her own interpretations.
That's
So it doesn't
lovely.
mean that she
Yeah.
has no emotion. She's just able to clearly deliver the message.
I mean, she is the other side of the magician, isn't she? Whereas he is very outward, she is very kind of receptive and inward. And it's kind of, I think the two of them are like two sides of the same coin. Like she would actually be the kind of what is your gut saying to you? He would be more kind of, you know, what's your head saying to you? I think he's quite instinctive, you know, that he would just go for something because I think he's got a strong instinct, but I think she's got a strong intuition, and I would trust her. I don't know. I kind of like feel like when my high priestess within me is strong, that's when I trust myself the most. I
Yeah.
trust my feelings about things. I trust my choices. I trust my decisions. But there's nothing worse than when your high priestess like feels like she's kind of gone AWOL, and you just don't trust yourself, and you don't know what to think. You don't know what to choose. You don't. When you don't trust yourself, that's when you're in deep water, isn't it? Or you
Yeah.
feel like you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've heard or read, I can't remember which, I get them confused, that the high priestess and the magician are the yin and the yang to each other.
Yes,
That
that makes sense
and
to
it
me.
makes so much sense that how everybody has polarities, or everything has polarities. We're not all one thing, but he is the masculine manifestation of magic or living, and she is the feminine manifestation.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
really suits there. And I know this is going into the esoteric, but I have got to share one of the most important things to me about the high priestess. And this is how a lot of my students are able to get past that, just seeing her as intuition. um there's a story of Persephone. She's mythological, Greek mythology. Her mother was Demeter, and Demeter was the goddess of wheat and abundance and summer. The story goes, like, long, long ago, Demeter was in charge of all of this, and that crops grew year round, that there was constant abundance. These were in the golden ages, and that nobody ever lacked for anything. It was always, perfect weather. It was always perfect growing season, and there were no taming of the crops type of thing.
Right.
So she had a daughter named Persephone, who she loved more than anything in the world. And Persephone, she was curious. She did things, and she was a young lady, and she was kidnapped by Hades, the god of the underworld. And when Demeter couldn't find Persephone, she went into like this great despair, and the world was plunged into winter. First time they'd ever seen winter. And the longer Persephone stayed in Hades, the worse the winter got. No crops growing, nothing happening. People were dying left and right. And it was Hermes, the god of communication, and much more than that. Hermes was like, oh God, this has to stop. So he went to the underworld to say, hey, we want her back. The world is dying. Our humans are dying. Our worshipers are just, they're not making it through this. So Hades was like, no, you can't have her back. You know, there were rules. When she came here, she was told she could leave if she didn't eat or drink anything here. A lot like fairy lore. You know, you can't eat or drink anything as a mortal in Hades or in the underworld because you're trapped there forever. And she didn't, he tricked her. He had given her a pomegranate and told her she could eat the seeds, that they weren't really food. And she, the way I learned it, you'll see different numbers from different lore or regions, but the way I learned it was she ate 6 pomegranate seeds. Okay?
Okay.
Just 6 pomegranate seeds. And Hermes was like, please, please let us have her. Let us bring her home. And Hades was like, all right, but if she looks back once, if she looks back at all, she's mine and she stays here. So Hermes got her all the way to the door, right? All the way to the
Yeah.
door to come back into our world. And he looked back to make sure she was still there. And Hades was like, mine. Hermes like, she didn't look back, I did. And he said, no looking back, Hades, Hades, no looking back. She's mine forever. And that's when Demeter was like, she just lost her shit, okay? She went down to Hades, was like, please, 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 I'm dying here. The world is dying. I don't know what to do. I cannot come out of this grief. So they came to a compromise, okay?
Oh,
Hades
yeah.
said, okay, she ate 6 pomegranate seeds. She stays with me 6 months out of the year. Winter. That's why we have winter. It's not really why, but that's the mythology. And she
Okay.
can come with you 6 months out of the other 6 months so the world can survive. And that is how we came to summer and winter. And that's why the moon ties in, because it's the moon that lets us know when we can plant and grow safely.
Very nice. That's such a great story.
It's a little long, I'm
Wow, that's a
sorry.
no. That's really cool. I didn't know that.
And the
That's
way,
amazing. Yeah, and that explains all the pomegranate as well behind her.
and to me, it shows that this high priestess, Persephone, you know, she's been there for what now, thousands of years. She is able to live in both worlds. The high priestess has one foot in this world and another foot in the other world, the underworld, where that intuition and magic lives. So she's able to dance between the two seamlessly. And that's how she can see everything and understand both sides, the black and the white.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She loves
Yeah.
Hades.
No, she is an amazing card when she comes up. I mean, it always depends on the question and the card position and what have you. But I just feel that she's got a lot of her qualities are to do with trust and to do with kind of knowing and just kind of knowing in a very sort of personal inner kind of way.
Yeah. And being able to see
Yeah.
the beauty in all the situations.
Sometimes I have seen the black and the white, like
Mhm.
that stands out to me in this card sometimes. Also, she bothers me in reverse, you know, like not trusting yourself, that kind of thing.
Not trusting yourself, and a lot of times I've seen her as not seeing the reality of the situation you're in right
Right.
now. you know, because she, and it's because of the mythology that I can see this, but it's always, it's so far it's been accurate when it's come up in a reading, is, you know, you're here now, not there. You're
Okay,
on
yes,
the physical plane, not in the underworld. And how
yes,
many
yes.
times do we not move forward because we're so busy wishing we were somewhere else or in a different situation, or not see a situation that we're in for what it is, good or bad.
She's a very good card, I would say, to meditate with or meditate on. I mean, she's got to be one of
Yes.
the, if not the best, to do that, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking from someone who's not very good at meditating, but I would say that she's, you know, I think she would be an amazing choice. And the other thing is, what was I going to say? Yeah, I know she's a really popular card. I'm sure I've said this before because I listened to a podcast once. It was American, believe it or not, and it was they were talking about some fancy dress get together from tarot readers, and apparently she was the most popular character that people came as.
Yeah. Her, and I bet the magician for the males. I bet.
I don't know. I think that maybe the males on the podcast came as the High Priestess, actually.
Oh,
But
really?
I think so. She was very, very popular. I
I'm
think
gonna
she's
come as the
great.
world. Make
You would come as the
everybody's
world.
no, no way in hell.
What are you saying,
That was a
Sharon?
threat. That was a threat.
I do think, I mean, because she's one of the 4 moon cards in the tarot, you know, you've got her and the moon, and then you've got the 2 of swords and the 8 of cups. So do you ever see her as motherly? Do you ever see her as a mother card? With it, because the moon is quite significant here.
Um, I've never, no, not once, ever seen her as a mother card. She seems a bit, and I think it's because of the tapestry separating her from that emotion. She seems a bit cold to me.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
have you seen her as a motherly card?
Yeah.
Okay.
A bit, yeah, sometimes. Not in such an obvious way as, like, say, the High Priestess, but I would see her as maybe, you know, perhaps kind of think about your own mother or think about yourself as your role as a mother, like, you know, sort of emotionally as a mother.
No.
Not so much, I don't necessarily see her as, oh, I think you're going to have a baby, or, you know, I can see pregnancy or anything like that. But I think the mother figure, you know, is, we're all born of a mother, aren't we? And if there's one person in the world that you kind of, in an ideal world, that you should be able to trust, it should be your mother, like, you know, that kind of safe place. She's very Cancer to me. I know she's also quite Pisces, but
Yeah.
I kind of like, I kind of like see her as that safe, secure, motherly representation in a way.
I can see that when you explain, because mothers are supposed to be calm and serene. They aren't
Yeah.
always, but yeah, that calm, that serene, and she's not turning us away. Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. And then too, we got those pomegranates and pomegranates. Wow, all the things pomegranates mean. But one of them is fertility.
And you did talk, yes, and you did talk about Persephone and her mother.
Yep.
I'm just seeing there's something about the mother, as in the kind of like the place where you're protected and safe and all that sort of like
Yeah.
level of mother. It just feels, it feels like it's in there somewhere.
I think you're right. I had
And the
never
secret
seen it
thing,
before.
you know, like Cancer, the sign of Cancer, which I do see this being associated with Cancer, possibly, right? But the sign of Cancer, it is like, you know, just feeling that you're safe in your home and in your you look, maybe you want to kind of just shut yourself away in your room or with your in your home, your safe place.
Yeah. I know one of my safe places, now that you mention it, when I was a teenager, if I had a really bad day, my mom would know, and she would always have a cup of chamomile tea
Right.
waiting for me, and we
Yes.
would sit across the table drinking our chamomile tea, discussing what horrible day I had. So yes, I can't believe I never saw that before.
And you know, like when you're a child, and we're always somebody's child, right? Whether they're around or not, you know. And if you're not well or something, it's like it doesn't matter how old you are. You just feel like, I want my mom.
I want
Right?
my
Do you know
mom.
what? Do you know what I mean? It's like it's the go-to person, isn't it? Really,
It
for
is.
certain situations.
And the high priestess, I know I said she appears cold, which she does at first blush to me, but like I also said, she's not one to turn us away. She's sitting there waiting for us.
Yeah.
She's ready to share those things with us.
Yeah.
She just needs to be sure that we're ready to learn them.
So in reverse, as I say, she does bother me. It would be like that kind of not trusting yourself, not trusting your sort of environment, your situation. Just oh, I think this is nasty in reverse, actually. This is very, very kind of, how can you get on with anything when you're feeling like that?
Now that's a horrible way to be, just completely closed off from emotion, intuition, compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah, closed off. Or look at those flowing robes above her in that moon. Maybe she's so ruled by emotion that she can't be in touch with that intuition, that knowing, because again, that emotion stains every thought she has.
I like that. Yeah, it is it's disconnected from your relationship with your higher power or your higher self, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, I'm not seeing much of a positive aspect with that in reversal.
No.
And I really I have to wonder if she, because of those pillars, it makes me think, does she really have a grasp on the reality around her?
Right.
Oof,
Oh.
brutal. So
Now
did you bring? Oh,
I
go ahead.
did. I brought one card because I really like it, and the other card because I just want to sort of see if I can work out what it means.
Let me see if I know which one is which. This one is the one you're trying to work out what it means.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to have a little go. So she's got a moon face, right, for a start. But there is the two sides, isn't there? You can see the white and the black face. And so she's on a chessboard as well. So that kind of like does, by the way, this is the Deviant Moon.
Yes.
Which I've recently I was gifted it, and I think it's lovely artwork. It's great, but I'm too scared to read with it yet. So, but she's on that chessboard, which to me is a little bit like life is all a bit of a kind of like a game, and it's quite strategic, I think, like the fact that she's on a chessboard, which I find I don't associate that with the High Priestess, like being strategic, but I feel that this, it's got those buildings on the back here. And the hands and the wings obviously kind of really sort of stand out as well, don't they? Especially, the hand. I mean, that's quite Two of Swords, that, like, to me, especially with those like long fingers. So
very much when I looked at it, I was like, wow, that looks like the Two of Swords.
yeah.
And I think that in this card, especially the duality.
Yes.
The duality shows it's like she's warring with herself, that grimace on her face. She does not look comfortable and confident like the High Priestess we know. but it's like she's at war with herself and the duality that lives inside her. She's more of a high priestess in reverse to me.
Yeah, she doesn't sort of come across as someone with a sort of a strong spiritual connection, and she can trust her sort of intuition and all of that. I'm not getting that from this.
Me neither. Not at all.
I think this is quite a popular deck, the Deviant Moon. And to
It
be
is.
fair, I've not looked into it. I've not studied it, and I don't understand it. But I probably would understand it better if I spent a bit of time with it. But I wouldn't mind someone who does have this deck and who uses it offering a really kind of like a good interpretation of it
Well,
that kind of makes some sort of sense.
that will help, and it will probably make the vision or the image make sense to us. But
Yeah, it
for
didn't
that
come with the book. Yeah,
that initial reaction of both you and I, we do have a lot of the same thought patterns, but that initial reaction of, whoa, she's not happy. What is going on here? And that Two of Swords, like, just go away, you know?
yeah.
That is, I would be hard
I
pressed.
suppose you could say the High Priestess is an inward character and maybe doesn't want to be disturbed. So, you know, it's kind of like I need to be with my own thoughts. I can sort of scrape together a bit of an understanding of that, but I just feel the real magic about the High Priestess. I can't see that in this version of
I
it.
don't see it at all. It may be that I'm missing something, but looking at it right now,
Peter,
I don't see it. I find this card disturbing and I worry for her. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
I
Whereas,
kind of like do feel when you've got the archetypes and you've got the major arcana, I'm not saying they have to be the same as the Rider-Waite, but I do think all of those archetypes live within us all, and they do need to be represented in some way that's sort of true to the archetype, not true to the Rider-Waite artwork, but true to the archetype. And I'm not seeing it here. I'm not going to lie.
I don't see it either.
I was hoping that if I brought it along today, we might kind of get it, but I'm afraid no. So we need
Maybe
some
there's
help
someone
here.
out there who can help us out. See her from a different perspective. Because again, those pillars, it's about perspective of reality.
Yeah.
So help us out, y'all. Leave a comment
Yeah.
because we're both stumped.
Sorry, Deviant Moon lovers.
And they're probably laughing at us, but that's okay. Now, I'm going to save my favorite one for last, but I am bringing the Tarot Grand Lux Chiara Machete.
Oh,
I love it.
that's gorgeous. That is very, very gorgeous.
The big difference is because she's got the pomegranate, she's got the wisdom, she's in the water. That to me means she must be able, she doesn't have to hide those emotions. She's in control of them.
Very nice. Yeah. That is
Yeah.
lovely.
And
I'm
she's
just going to
inviting.
work out the thing on her head, that gold thing.
It's a lot like, I know even in the original Rider-Waite or the traditional Rider-Waite, I was looking earlier and thinking, wow, she makes me think of the Virgin Mary, the Mother Mary. It's when you were talking about mothers. And
Right.
when you see pictures of the Mother Mary, she's got something like that on the back of her head
Okay.
in a lot of pictures that people, especially as a saint. So
It looks like a sort of transmitter in a funny sort of way, you know, kind of like signals coming through.
oh, I love that for this because isn't that like when you said she might be Pisces, I that transmission, that direct contact
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
universe where she knows she can trust her intuition because she knows she's got that direct contact.
And that, you
So,
know, you've got the owl there, which is sort of the wise bird, you know,
yeah,
that's from the air. No, I definitely sort of like feel the emotions are there, but so is all the wisdom and all the kind of the access to all that knowledge.
Yeah.
I mean, she to me looks like she'd be a hell of a tarot reader.
Yeah, and she looks like the high priestess I would want to go to. I look at those eyes. She
Stunning.
is she's not physically smiling with her mouth, but those eyes are so welcoming. It's
Yeah.
about time you got here, you know? I love her.
Yeah, no, she's very unusual, but like, to me, she does capture a lot of the qualities that are quite right for the high priestess.
Yeah, and I
And I
love
kind of
that
think if you
she's
showed me that card, I would go with high priestess. I'd get it. I'd get, because yeah, I would guess if it didn't say it that she, she was the high priestess.
you would know. Whereas that deviant moon, I'm so sorry, but I would have guessed
Yeah.
Two of Swords
Yeah.
any day of the week. So,
Now, before you show another card, I've got a little story I would like to tell,
oh, okay.
if that's all right.
That's fine.
I know we've got a few more kind of high priestesses still to come, but when I was 21, I went to Israel. Jerusalem is really an amazing place. But anyway, I remember going there, and I was with this girl who was Canadian, and we arrived in Jerusalem on the last bus. It was very, very late at night. Something like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. It got into the bus station there, and we didn't know where we were going to stay or anything, right? And there was this man and his wife on the bus, and for some reason, somehow we got talking to them, and they went, "You can stay at ours," right? So we just went, okay. I can't really remember more details than that, but myself and my friend, we went back with this man and his wife to their apartment in Jerusalem, and they said, "Oh, like, you can sleep in here. It was like the living room. See you in the morning," right? End of, right?
Wow.
No, there was no, maybe our intuition was working well. We didn't feel any threat or anything. It was all fine. When we woke up the next morning and we looked out the window, the view in their garden was that bloody golden dome. It was like, oh my God, how does anyone live here? And when they look out of their window, that's what they're looking at.
Wow.
It was like, my God, it was like, it blew us away. It blew us away that we were in someone's house, and that was literally the view from right on it, as close as my one is in my picture.
Oh, wow.
That's my story.
That is amazing.
And obviously our high priestesses were working for us, because we didn't feel any threat, and there was no threat, and it was actually something very special. I'm not encouraging people to go back to strangers' houses, right? But it was one of those things that it was like to wake up in the morning and to think, somebody lives here and this is their normal view. It was I've never ever forgotten it. So
That's beautiful. And I love that there are people like that who are trusting and trustworthy,
They trusted us and we trusted them, and we just met them on a bus. It was just a couple,
How beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I would have loved to.
It's a short story, but I saw the pictures we chose randomly today. We didn't discuss this in advance, and I thought, reminds me of that.
Yeah. That is beautiful. Oh my gosh. Let's see. You have dun, 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 dun. I love this.
This is just gorgeous. This is the high priestess. Look at her. We've got the moon there. She's kind of like, she's just peaceful. She's there with her own thoughts. I mean, it's totally, she's totally in touch with her, the cat spirit, the great cat spirit, what's going on. I mean, it's just fantastic. I'm just trying to see. I've got the actual card here, but it's so small. I'm trying to see, what are those jewels? Is it a key that she's got?
There are Yeah, a key and a triangle and the figure eight lemniscate. Just all kinds of things hanging from the tree.
Just
And
all the
then the
symbols. Yeah.
yeah, then the
I love,
butterfly.
I love this High Priestess.
It's
It's just, but I think what this set is saying, whatever creature you are, you have a higher power. You have an intuition, you have an instinct. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're an ant or a horrible spider or whatever, or a cat or a person. Everybody has a higher power, and everybody, every living thing should be entitled to just have their time, their time when they are just in touch with themselves and their kind of version of that higher power of the universe, whatever that is.
yeah.
That is a very special and very precious connection that we should all kind of like tune into. We would all be better people for it.
Yes, I love that. Look, and even like the little butterfly, it looks like he's connecting to his higher power with the glow at his antenna, her, it.
Yes, yes. No, I just think this is a lovely High Priestess. I agree with you, Sharon. This Black Cat Tarot is a really, really nice deck.
Ah, love it.
Yeah,
I love cats, you know that.
I love cats. I
And
can't help it.
I've never actually bought a cat tarot because I want the Bohemian Cat Tarot from Baba Studios, but I've never actually gotten one for reading with. But looking at these that you show, it's like I could read with these. I could
I think
identify
so.
with
It's
these.
not just a gimmicky deck, is it? It's actually got a bit of like depth to it.
A
It's
lot.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I could read with these. Now, okay, be afraid. Be
Oh,
very, very afraid. Let me find her.
oh, I've seen this before. Is this modern
It
spellcasting?
is, and
Yeah.
I love it. That mystery. Look, and she's even
Wow.
showing us what she's learned. She's
Excuse me,
showing
it's got the
us.
baby there, the mother
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's reflective of the Christian religion with Moses.
Isn't that the Jewish religion, Moses?
I
It's
think
Old
it's both the
Testament.
Christian and the Jewish because,
Okay. I thought it
until
was
the New
Old Testament.
Testament, we have, I think a lot of our Old Testament is much like the Jewish, but
And,
Moses is Christian too. Yeah,
oh, okay. Okay.
yeah. Well, at least I learned that way.
I'm not very well up on any of it. So yeah.
But he is the one that
But
brought back the Ten Commandments, so I think he's both Christian and Jewish. We'll have to ask somebody. Anybody knows? Please let us know.
yes. My gosh, we're going to end up all religious if we're not careful.
No, but she is showing that, because here she's got the zodiac, it looks like, and then she's got the alchemical stuff, and
But
I think she spans many religions and many beliefs as well.
what is it with her and the blue face and the blue hands?
The mystery and the secrets that she holds. But with the open book, if we're not afraid of her, because of how she looks or appears, a lot of people are afraid of the mysteries of the universe. They don't want to know. She's willing
That's
to
very
share.
true.
We
That is
just got to
very
get
true. Yeah,
past our fear
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and our preconceptions.
yeah.
So I do love this high priestess, but the first time I saw her, I was like, that's flippin'
I've
terrifying.
got to be honest, like the blue thing, to me, she looks like she's an alien. She doesn't look as though she's earthly.
I imagine the high priestess type of individuals feel like alien sometimes. People are afraid of us. Not that I'm a high priestess yet, But
Right.
when I show my knowledge or when I use my intuition
Okay.
and trust it, it does cause some fear because people don't understand it. Now
I
she's willing to teach and
yeah.
help people
I mean, I
understand.
know that people are afraid, or some people are afraid of the tarot. They think it's evil. They think it's going to bring you kind of bad luck and all that sort of thing. And the only people that are going to say such things to me are people who have not learnt about it or understood it. Because
It
once you learn about it and understand it, you would actually realize how very wrong that is. Because
and
it's
that's yeah,
only as dark and evil as the hands of the person that it's in.
it is a tool.
It's a tool. It's the same as a knife.
Yep.
I'm sure I've used this analogy before, but a knife is used for cutting things, for making food, for eating food. But a knife can also be an extremely deadly weapon.
Or a
So,
brick.
yeah,
I can make a house with a brick or hit you on the head with a brick.
exactly.
It's not
Exactly. So the tarot itself is certainly not evil or nasty. It's just covering all the kind of, the things that people go through in life, which literally is everything from birth through to death and everything in between, and addictions, like with the devil card, things like that, getting attached to things that are not good for you.
yeah.
That's all the devil card really kind of like comes down to. But you can make it a lot more evil if that's how you want to go. But in itself, it's certainly not an evil thing,
Most
and it's not
people
going to
who
bring
are
you bad
afraid
luck.
of us are people who have never experienced and will never experience because they've already had those preconceived notions. A, a reading from a real tarot reader. They've either
Yes,
been against it all their lives and never had a reading, or they've been scammed by the people who take advantage. And scammers
yes,
aren't
true.
just for tarot and metaphysical. There's scammers out there for, I mean, how many of you get that damn car warranty call every day? Your car warranty's expired. My mom got one just last week. Her car is 42 years old. Hell yeah, it's expired. you know, it there are scammers outside of the metaphysical, yet we get some ugly stuff because of the scammers that exist in the tarot
Yes,
world.
yes,
But
yes,
or they've had a reading from an amateur that has no clue how to read.
yes, yeah.
So if people would open their minds or take the time to get a real reading, they'd learn something and they wouldn't be so afraid.
But going back to this high priestess, I do think she looks like she's not from this planet. To me, she does look like she's an alien, not invader, but an alien visitor.
Yeah,
And
otherworldly.
she brings knowledge from outside of this world.
Well, I think that's perfect because
Yeah.
doesn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do think, going back to your last card that you had with and I said it looks like a transmitter on her head.
Yeah.
I do feel that we can communicate as humans, and I kind of like, I don't think it's just humans. I think certainly animals have probably got a higher sort of sensitivity than us,
Yeah.
generally speaking. Like my dog starts barking when we're down the road, and it's like, how does it know it's us or whatever? How does it know it's Gretel, kind of thing? But I kind of think we are tuned in to something on a higher frequency, and I think that's what both of the cards that you brought are kind of representing, actually. And maybe my little cat card as well is kind of captured a bit
Absolutely.
of that. I don't think the Deviant Moon one sort of went there.
She didn't seem like she
No,
wanted to hear what she was receiving.
no.
So
So interesting conversation.
I'm sorry this video was so long. It's just you can't skim through the High Priestess, and we'll have to, after when we get all the card meanings done and take a short break. I think we might want to do the esoteric ones for the major arcanas.
Yes,
Have some conversations about that.
I think we might need to engage with Khalid actually on that. That may take several years to
It
get.
may, but you would know
You'll be
inside
blown
and
away.
out.
Yeah. And I'm very pleased that my moon stayed on as an earring.
I know. You're gonna have a hell of a time untangling that thing.
Yeah.
Use your intuition. Just
Yes.
be the string.
Yeah. Well, that was great. So yeah, please do comment, subscribe, all of that jazz. And we will see you the next time at the Empress. Bye for
Listen to
now.
the
Bye.
whisper of the sea, to the whisper. Here at the pomegranate grove, discover the secrets of the major arcana.